Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your Breakfast Bankroll for Sunday, March 13th, 2022. Selection Sunday. Couple games left before everyone gets their brackets and everyone gets to be an expert because they know who is going to be in the Final Four, the Sweet 16, the Elite Eight, and of course, who's going to be cutting the nets down. For anyone that joined us yesterday, I announced what we called the Bag Alert, which has only lost one game this year, and that was Kansas versus TCU. Yesterday was a different Bag Alert where I was able to see someone, it looked like, around 9:48 to 10 o'clock, go to the window with $200K and bet $40K a game on 5 games. A&M +6, winner. Davidson -3, winner. Tennessee +3, winner. Indiana +5.5, winner. Michigan State +6.5, winner. $200K this gentleman or woman won yesterday. So this morning I got up bright and early to see if the Bagman was there. He was still sleeping. I would too. I'd be counting my money. But at 11:13, 11:14, 11:15, and 11:20, this person strikes again. One of the games doubled back, so he's got 85K. My assumption is 85K, or he decided to step to the window and put 50K and had a buddy put 35K 7 minutes later on a game, 42K on a game, and 40K on a game. So I assume my partner probably saw this as well. Maybe not. Maybe he did. He's shaking his head. So let's bring him on. Everyone, I promise it's not the 12 o'clock game, and I promise we will get to these 3 games. We're going to call it Bag Alert, Bag Alert, Bag Alert, Bag Alert. Let's bring him on. My co-host, my partner in crime, Scott T. Webb.
Well, I will tell you that that 12 o'clock game, Princeton -3, $44,000 was bet on that game.
And I had planned to start our show a lot earlier. So you're saying he had a fourth one. What time was that one?
Let me look. It was 11-12.
So he fits right in there. And how much?
It's 44,000.
And it was on?
It's Princeton -3.
All right. So we went back to the well with 4 games today. I don't know if that was him that doubled up or someone came back. You know what? I'm trying to look at it's 12:04. One of those games was a 1 o'clock start, right? Let me just double back here.
Yeah, the Davidson Richmond game.
Yeah. Okay. So what we usually do is we talk about baseball, we talk about what's going on in the world, and then we get into the board. Listen, just because you went 5-0 yesterday, and he was this person had a couple. I thought breezes. A&M was box to wire. Davidson box to wire. Tennessee box to wire. Definitely got a little sweaty in the. Well, I shouldn't say the Indiana game wasn't sweaty. I guess the only sweaty part would have been if it went to overtime, obviously. And then Michigan State, kind of a backdoor cover, but was spot on. All right, I'm going to go over the bag now, and then we're going to circle back the wagons, do what we usually do, go over the NBA, go back over the bag, and then I'll take a look in the NHL. So grab your pens and papers, people. Rotation number 645, 646, Richmond and Davidson. The first bag alert at 11:15, 42K on Richmond plus 3.5. Richmond plus 3.5, the first bag. Then we will go to the next game. Rotation number 647, 648. And this was at 11:13 and 11:20.
Yeah,
The bag double dips at 11:13, 50K on A&M plus 6.5. And then 7 minutes later, 35K on A&M plus 6.5. So 85K on A&M plus 6.5. Wasn't done though. My eyes saw they passed on Memphis, Houston, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Then rotation number 651, 652 at 11:14, 40K on Iowa plus 2. So I'll call those out again. He has Princeton -3 for 44K at 11:12. At 11:13, 50K on A&M plus 6.5. Comes back at 11:20 for another 35K on A&M plus 6.5. In between, Iowa plus 2 for 40K and Richmond plus 3.5 for 42K. And did my eyes deceive me, Scott?
No, but let's look here one more second. All right, so I don't know if this is the same guy. Kind of assume it is. What rotation? It's 565, 566. $17,000 at plus 4.5 on Detroit, and then another double dip back at a 10:30, hit it again for 6,000. So that's 23,000 on the Pistons, and this guy's stealing my thunder a little bit. And then the only game that I'm playing in the NBA today, he hit it too, or whoever this guy is. New York Knicks, that same time frame, 10-18, $17,000, and then hit it again for $14,000. So he's got $32,000 on the Knicks plus 6.
All right, so let's circle back here. I'm going to give you the stage for a few minutes. I'm going to try to double dip and multitask here since I'm trying to look at the window and it's 1 o'clock. And so two of those go. So I'm going to give you the full stage here. I want you to give us everyone a rundown. What's going on in baseball? What's going on in the free agent market and stuff? And I'm going to give you the whole stage here so you can talk as long as you want as I'm going to try to get creative here. Okay.
Yeah, no worries. Well, a couple of things. One, just because the basketball game is going to go off in not too long. The only NBA game I have, and I haven't really even given out selections because we haven't done a 4:30 show. I just had some leans in the mornings, but this one is a game I played. This is the New York Knicks +6 against Brooklyn today. That's the one I played. I kind of like the idea here that Brooklyn doesn't play as well as at home, and they're off a big win against Philadelphia. So I kind of think that this is a spot where what have you done for me lately kind of says Brooklyn's got too many points here. My number in this game is more like 1 or 2 points. You got to remember that there are only 6 games that separate these two teams between the Knicks and the Nets. Now, in terms of baseball, what I think is really interesting in baseball that happened yesterday was, and I'm writing about it now, so I'm getting ready to post it on my blog and on my website. But the New York Mets are getting to be very interesting to me. I think that the players that they are bringing in are fantastic for this team. And yesterday they brought in a pitcher, and what I liked about that is that Chris Bassett comes to the New York Mets. I was sort of surprised in what was sent back out. I mean, they gave out prospects, which is fine. Oakland's going to go through a rebuild. Don't be surprised if you see all the Oakland A pitchers go away. You're going to see Montas and Manaea all be available, and you're also going to see Chapman and Olsen be available. So they got some talented players that other teams can use, and I think they probably will be able to get a really good rebuild going for that team pretty quick, and if not, quality players in return. However, having said that, Chris Bassett was basically a number 1 for them last year. He's a bulldog kind of pitcher. What's interesting is, and what I don't think most people understand about Chris Bassett, and you might not even have really heard of him before. Over the last 3 seasons, his won-loss record, and I don't go by that much, but it's just something that you can put into perspective. He's 27 wins and only 11 losses. And that's pretty damn good, especially when you consider Oakland's have been a good team. They haven't been a great team. So he's been their solid go-to guy. He's been a great pitcher. And really now think about what that rotation looks like. So they get DeGrom back. DeGrom's supposed to, I got him scheduled at 24 starts in a normal season, and he would get 32. So that means he's probably going to miss maybe a month and a half. Maybe probably at the start, but you get DeGrom back, and you can put Scherzer on that team all you want to. DeGrom is the best pitcher in baseball, and he is. It's not even close. It's not even close in a sense that his FIP numbers and his WHIP numbers are unbelievable. So walks plus hits divided by innings pitched kind of gives you an idea how many base runners get on base. For DeGrom, it's 0.55. That is like ridiculous. Anything right at 1.0 is awesome, and he is half that. So it's ridiculous how good DeGrom is. And you back that up now, you got DeGrom, and then you got Scherzer. So now Scherzer, he's going to be 37 this season, but he has had 8 consecutive straight seasons being one of the best pitchers in baseball, and not in the Cy Young conversations. So now you have 2 of the best pitchers in all of baseball. Going third in that lineup is going to be Chris Bassett, who is the number 1 for the Oakland A's. And then you have a Carlos Carrasco, who had a rough season last year, but that's not anything more to do with coming back from injury. So I suspect that he's going to be at least a solid starter for them with the upside to be, kind of all-star level pitcher. So your number 5 guy is going to be T1 Walker. And T1 Walker is 29 years old, decent starter, average guy. But that's what if you got a number 5 starter that's an average pitcher, you're in really good shape. Tyler Miguel is going to be the guy that sort of fills the holes when Carrasco needs a break and needs to skip a rotation spot and before DeGrom gets back. So if you compare that to what the Braves have, and you're looking at Morton doesn't compare to DeGrom or Scherzer. And then you have Fried, and Fried does not compare to DeGrom or Scherzer. So their top 2 don't match the Mets' top 2. And then when you got Anderson, who's their number 3 guy that's going to pitch against Bassett, that doesn't match up either. So the top 3 pitchers for the Mets beat the top 3 pitchers for the Braves. And then if you even take it to another level and you go farther down, let me pull that up over here. You got Huascar Yanoa, you've got Mike Soroka and Taylor Davidson, who are going to be the Braves, 4, 5, 6 guys. Soroka is going to be out for a while, so he's 18 games, so he's going to miss basically half the season. So now you're looking at the Braves pitching staff does not match up. Where they do match up is in the bullpen. The Braves are a little deeper in the bullpen. I would give the closer nod and the late inning nod to the Mets. But overall, they have the better bullpen pieces in Atlanta. And now you look at it from a perspective of the offense, and I'm really pretty excited to see how some of these players do for the Mets. They bring in Starling Marte, they brought in Mark Canha, and they brought in Edward Escobar. And I know that a lot of these names, other than Sterling Marte, aren't they're resounding names. But Mark Canha and Eduardo Escobar are 2 players that are consistent producers. They are offensive producers that also play defense. So what they were lacking in before was moving runners around, getting guys on, creating opportunities. They have that in those 2 players. And then you bring in Sterling Marte, who had a season last year where he was borderline MVP kind of player. I think he's going to regress off of that, which, was his career best season last year. So I would suspect he'll drop off, but I don't think he's going to drop off past an all-star level. So you've got Lindor, who should rebound nicely off of his first year in the National League. And you got to remember that he's been an all-star level player for years. Pete Alonso, who is just a dynamo on offense. Brandon Nimmo is a guy that I don't think people really give enough credit for. He's a 300 hitter that plays defense, steals bases, produces on offense. Starling Marte, you got Jeff McNeil, who I think is going to get traded. And I would see J.D. Davis and Dominic Smith as guys that get traded. And they also bring back a lost name here, Robinson Cano. And now Robinson Cano is off of suspension. I think he's going to be a part-time player where he's had 3 straight years of below to average productivity. So he's in his age 39 season. So this is a guy that up to the PED suspension was probably a surefire guy to make the Hall of Fame. I'm not sure he's going to make that anymore based off of those things that happened to him. But this is a Mets team now that when you match that up to what the Braves do, and, I've been really big on the Braves and their offense, but the Braves are a non-complete team. So Ronald Acuna will be back, and he is the stir that makes that drink work in Atlanta. He is a MVP type player, one of the best players in all of baseball. But he's going to miss probably the first month. And then you got Ozzie Albies, who is a perennial now all-star player. I don't know that many people realize that he had 100 runs scored and 100 RBIs and hit almost 300 home run or 30 home runs last season. Austin Riley had his breakout season where he hit the big home runs. I think he's going to stay at that all-star to just a little bit below all-star kind of level player. Dansby Swanson, okay, now he's a guy that really played real well last year, and I think he's going to regress back to his normal self, which is solid player, maybe average player, but not to the degree in which he performed last year. Okay, so you only have 3 guys on this whole team that have an offensive WAR in double digits. And if you look at the Mets, they got 5 or 6 guys. So they doubled them up, which then means you got to look at it from a perspective of Braves are going to miss Freddie Freeman a ton. They're also going to miss the idea of George Soler. So I kind of like the idea here that I think the Mets have not only caught the Braves, I think they've surpassed them. Welcome back, Jeff.
Thank you. Crazy as we're sitting here, apologies to me, to you, we try to get this off and running. I don't want to tie up your day. And then when the real Vegas Dave reaches out and calls you, you pick up the phone, and that's the over starts at an hour, 5 minutes. And when you get to 100, an hour and 35 minutes, and then shout out to my buddy, Mr. Brad Howe, for reaching back to me. He's been swamped doing games himself. We're going to get him on soon. And it's just a crazy time of year. And again, I want to reiterate one thing first. People go on heaters. We don't know who this person is. We don't know if it was the same person. You just look for trends. You look for times, and it's the same time that those wages were placed basically yesterday, just an hour later, because there was no early games. He did get in on the Ivy League game. So again, I don't want people running to the windows because this guy went 5-0, or our eyes in the bag now. I think the bag games now go to 9-1, I think, Scotty, overall. But the first 4 were entirely different. They were 100K, 85K. This guy has a strategy, 40, 42. He double dipped on the A&M game, which is really surprising. But again, we try to pick up stuff that will give you value, that will give you an edge. I'm not telling you to double, triple, quadruple down, because he went 5-0 yesterday. He can go 0-4 today, just like all of us. He or she puts their pants on the same way. So we're just trying to give you a little insight there. Back to baseball. Every year Met fans get all hot and horny because you start with DeGrom. You already have an edge with DeGrom. And unfortunately, he's been getting hurt. They finally said enough with Syndergaard, who's now with the Angels. Am I a sinister, a naysayer to say, I think Max Scherzer, and please don't take this the wrong way, he's a horse. He just eats up innings and strikes out. This guy has got so many innings on those tires. You would think this is the perfect landing spot for him, because he'd fit right in if he got hurt.
Well, I think that Max is in a good spot here. He's Max. I thought he was going to be washed last year, and he wasn't. He's pitched big games. He's pitched for the good teams. He's pitched against everybody's aces everywhere down the road. He's going to give you everything he's got, and I think the Mets can use a guy like that. I mean, that's a guy that maybe is a clubhouse guy that changes the thing. They got all those prissy little Francisco Lindor kind of guys. They need a guy that's going to get in your face, and he's that guy. So I will tell you that Chris Bassett's that guy too. He's a bulldog. Will get in your face, throw 180, 190 innings. I think that's what you're going to see. I don't think you're going to see Scherzer throw 200 innings for the Mets. I think he's going to throw about 180, 185 innings. So, look, I think the Mets have done enough to be the favorites in the NL East above the champs. The champs are going to need to do some things, and I think they're going to need to do at least 2 things. One, they're going to have to bring Freeman back. 2, they're going to need to bring another bat back that matches what Soler did. And I think 3rd, they're going to need to get another pitcher, because they don't got enough pitching to match up. So So, and then, Philadelphia hasn't done anything yet. And you got to remember, Philadelphia finished second. The Mets finished third. So I look, as much as I was liking the Braves, I'm more in on the Mets right now.
I'll ask you this, and then we'll go over to the NBA. I personally tweeted out, I thought that Major League Baseball was sleeping at the wheel to, especially in the arms race, to let Kukuc, I call him Kukuc, go for 12 million per. Stack up the starting rotation for Toronto versus the Mets.
Versus the Mets, the Blue Jays. So you're looking at Jose Barrios and you're looking at Kevin Gausman. Those are two. I mean, there's nothing. I mean, I'm not as big on Kevin Gausman maybe as maybe I should be, but I like Kevin Gausman, number one. But what the differences are between Barrios and Gausman against DeGrom and Scherzer are that DeGrom and Scherzer can mow everybody down. I mean, they can be dominant. Barrios and Gausman are going to be more contact type guys. Yes, Barrios gets strikeouts and he's got a good slider, but I think that you're going to see that in the National League he was real successful. We'll see how he does in the American League East.
But I agree with you there. But I will take my 3, 4, 5 with Toronto with Manoah. I am huge on Manoah. Huge on Manoah. And then you add Ryu.
Yeah.
And now you add Kukuc. I'll take their 3. Yes, you get the edge at 1 and 2, but I'll take the 3, 4, 5 with Toronto and run with anyone.
Yeah, Ryu, I'll tell you what, Alek Manoah can be as good as any of them. He's got the stuff to be as good as any of them. He's only Alek Manoah is going to be in his 24th year. He's 24 years old this year. So he came out of rookie season last year and was awesome, and he's going to be awesome again. And the guy who's getting lost in all of this for the Blue Jays is Nate Pearson. And I don't know if you remember Nate Pearson, but Nate Pearson throws 100 miles an hour, and he's a starter, not a reliever. However, I think what's going to end up with him is I think that just think of it this way. Now you have Kikuchi in there, and he's going to be, say, the number 5 guy, as opposed to Ross Stripling. Ross Stripling was the number 5 guy in the American League East and getting smashed. So now they have a fighting chance 1 through 5. And, you can say what you want to about the Rays, and these guys down here are just driving me insane. You got to get some people to pitch. The Rays pitching does not match that. It doesn't. Now, I get it that they have all those mix and matches and all the other stuff and all the science and all the other stuff that puts them in advantages in many spots. But they don't have the damn offense that Toronto does either. So there's the only team that can match offensively to Toronto is Houston, and that's it. So
all right,
the Blue Jays are pretty damn good.
I'm going to switch over. I'm going to play a game today with everyone here. Why not? We'll give them a little show. Pregame.com. Again, another one of our spreadsheets that we use here at ECSI. I'm going to have some fun with that today. And as you go over the NBA board, I'm going to have some fun. Our buddy, the Bagman, sweating early. Yale, 22, Princeton, 14. So I already got some early sweats from the Bagman.
Yeah, well, I mean, when I was looking at these numbers in the NBA, I took the New York Knicks. That was the number 1 play that I had. The other ones that are on the desk that I didn't play, it's because I'm getting to a point where I don't trust these big underdogs. But my numbers tell me Orlando at plus 12.5, and they tell me that Indiana at plus 11 are good numbers against both Philadelphia and against Atlanta here. And then I'm looking at these 230 numbers like Memphis and OKC. My numbers tell me that Memphis OKC should go over the 230 points. And then the Lakers and Phoenix should go over 230 points. I just didn't wager those games because I like that New York game the best.
All right. Anything else kind of pique your interest or anything look out of line?
I don't understand the and my number came up close, but that game with the Atlanta and Indiana game, it's Atlanta minus 11 against Indiana. And Atlanta is good, but they're not double digits over Indiana good, I don't think. And I can't pull the trigger on that because and Indiana is one of those teams that when I start looking at who's playing and who's not playing, I get confused on who's supposed to be the starter and who's not. Because what is that one guy, Brogdanovich or whatever his name is? I can't figure out if he's a starter or if he's not a starter, if he plays most of the time. It's just a weird thing in Indiana. But I don't think Indiana should be a 11-point underdog to Atlanta. My actual number comes out to 6 points. I'm just not going to bet it. So I thought that was a weird number.
I mean, my quick eye test, I thought the Knicks, they were, Nets open up at 3.5. I thought that was short. I think the Knicks have been playing better. They're looking for Nets money. I do like the Knicks there, just again on the eye test. The Pistons as well. The Clippers -6. I think that's a fair number. Pistons have been playing better. But they got their Pistons money in there. I want to tell you this, that this is showing Celtics opened up at 5, now -8. I actually saw a Celtics number at around -2, 2.5. Is Luka out?
No.
Okay. I mean, that's some huge steam. That's some huge steam on the Celtics there, up to 8. Again, I don't know who's in or out for the Suns. That's a real low number. The Lakers, I mean, they're not playing the Wizards, obviously. So that kind of is an intriguing line. I think they're dying for you to take the Sixers today. It opened at 13, went to 11.5. Probably the Sixers win by, 10, 9, somewhere in there. They'll find a way not to cover that. But let's get back to the college hoops. I save you initially, you can still bounce back and forth. I'm going to use the same screen. We talked about the Bagman and the games that he had. He's on Princeton, -3, who's currently down by 10, 24-14 there. Rotation number 645, 646, Richmond and Davidson. I tell you what here, all those people on the bubble are praying for Davidson because if Richmond wins, they're going to steal a spot here. So the Bagman on Richmond plus the 3.5 there. Rotation number 647, 648, A&M in Tennessee. A&M has been the surprise of the SEC. And now they're playing a Tennessee team that just manhandled Kentucky. They're showing here opened at 7.5, now 6.5. Almost 500,000 on this game. The Bagman is on A&M not once but twice, plus 6.5 for 50K and 35K. Took a pass on Memphis and Houston. I tell you guys this, and we were on Memphis yesterday. I thought they played a lot of grab ass, and they did come back and cover. They had a halftime lead of 6. They were actually tied at one point, but they end up covering the 4. Here, a Houston team that just blowing out teams. That's what they do. I think the number's spot on. If you are playing either one, if you're playing Memphis today, plus the points, just be careful. Get close to that in-game in case Penny and the boys don't show up and Houston rolls them. And last but not least, rotation number 651, 652, Iowa and Purdue opened up a pick, which to me was a clear Iowa number, has shot up to 2. The Bagman jumped in on Iowa +2 for 40K. Closing thoughts, Scott? Oh, actually, no, hold on. I apologize. Let me go to hockey. Let me go.
Look at the first one, Jeff. He must have just made a play.
I saw that earlier.
Carolina 30,000.
Just now
12-10
on Carolina.
on Carolina plus 115 for 30,000, then hit it again 2 minutes later for another 10. So basically he's $40,000 on Carolina in hockey.
Carolina plus 115 for all the puckheads looking for a little frozen pond action there.
But you can see it plain as day. $170,000 on that game, and no other game's got more than 13 or 18.
Keep an eye on the Hurricanes against the Penguins there. Just from an eye test alone. And guys, you can see what we're doing here. You can look at the total numbers in these 243K, 306. Those college games are going to be a lot. Wait till we get into the big dance, as they're going to really be some huge, huge numbers here. But in a hockey game, I know it is starting at 105, but they got 171,000, and the next closest is 31K. So a clear, sharp play there, or Bagman, as I'm calling them, as we speak. There's been some movement on the Winnipeg Jets today against the Blues. They're opened up 150 now, 128. You could probably get the Jets at a plus 118 today. I looked at the Islanders. That's a big number for them. I can't give you the 176. If you wanted to get in there, I would look at the puck line there. That's a big statement here. Colorado minus the 160 against Calgary. Trust and respect the opening numbers, please. Florida jumped from 165 to 212. Again, couldn't play that. If you needed to get in there, that would be more of a puck line. And Tampa really laid an egg on us yesterday. And they pulled Valesky and they start Elliott. They had 8 penalties called on them last night. And McDavid had 2 power play goals. They cut it to 2-1, then lose 3-1. Now they got Valesky slated versus a Vancouver team. Back-to-backs, open at 160, now 147. Any comments, questions, concerns? Go to my timeline or DM me at EC Sports Invest. Go over to Scotty at Webby20MLB and ask away. Scott, closing thoughts.
I was expecting to see some more stuff happen today. So it's still early. It's only 12:30. So I think you're going to see some people get knocked off the board today. I think Nelly Cruz is going to get signed by somebody today, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple of the bigger name free agents move today. And I think if they do move, I think you'll start to see some trade action start to really flow.
All right. Craziness. Update. Again, it's Sunday, Selection Sunday. So everyone grab their blank brackets and get some fun ready for tonight when the announcement is made. Myself, actually tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock my time, Bernie Fratto and at Fox Sports Radio will be coming on for the Breakfast Bankroll to talk what actually happened behind the scenes, what finally got the deal done. Bernie was spot on. He'd been on with us 3 times, spot on every time. And I got to play ball. I think it was 311 or 303 on Friday as I was doing a show. And he was about 10, 15 minutes ahead of Passon and everyone else. So he's locked in there. So we're going to talk there. Myself and Scott will come back at 4:30. There'll be some NBA and NHL. I don't know if those small tournaments probably don't start. The playing games are Tuesday and Wednesday. So we'll maybe do a little bracket talk or maybe some potential futures there. Tuesday, I'm going to do my best to get a show on in the morning with Scott. Maybe I'll do a live closing the bell, Scott, from Logan Airport if I can find a quiet place there. Wheels up at 6:45. Tuesday, land at McCarran at 9:45 their time to be chaperoned by Mr. Sharapan himself. And then Wednesday through the 31st, live from Vegas, remote shows from hopefully Circus, South Point, Westgate. Me and Scott will be doing baseball shows. I'll have live shows with Andrew McGinnis from Wager Talk, from Colton and Riley. It's going to be busy. The following weekend, Dave and I talked for an hour and a half today. We can't wait for the following weekend. Finally get to meet the man behind all the content, all the trivia questions. Great trivia questions yesterday in baseball, Mr. Lucky. Thank you, thank you, thank you. To all our loyal supporters, we can't thank you enough. It's picking up. It really is. We got some big stuff brewing. Hopefully come back from Vegas with some breaking news. Hopefully we shall see there. But today, always, it's family day. ECSI VIPs, you already got 5.5 units set to the side. Play a half unit on the action parlay today. Have some fun with it. Collect the 4.5, 5 units. Envelope Monday is just 11.5 hours away. It was a great week. We started off on fire. We held on tight. Got a bad break with San Diego State yesterday. Again, who couldn't score in the last 2 minutes, lose by 1. Got okey-doked by the Lightning in the puck line against Edmonton. That's okay. We went 3-2 and profited, just like we did the day before. So all is well. But remember this: invest and wager responsibly. If you have a problem, pick up that phone. There's an 800 number available. Ask for help. Why? Myself and Scotty care. We want to see you here today, tomorrow, next week, next month, through 2022 and beyond. From myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, from Scotty Webb at Webby20 MLB. We wish everyone a blessed day. Have some fun with the games. Enjoy Selection Sunday, and we'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning.